What is going on, guys? Jakey here. Today I'll be showing you guys the best settings for Valorant to get the most amount of FPS and the least amount of input lag, both in-game settings as well as system tweaks that you can do. So yeah, let's go right into it. So starting with the in-game settings, all you want to do to access the settings menu, click top left here and click on settings. After that, go to video, and in the general tab here, you want to make sure that you're playing on full screen. Don't play on windowed because windowed will give you more input lag. So make sure you play full screen for the least amount of input lag. Next, I like to limit my FPS on everything. The in-game FPS, I changed my cap to 300 just because this is what I use on Counter-Strike, and 300 is more than enough FPS. I don't usually even hit 300, so keeping it here is fine for me. And then after that, go to graphics quality. Make sure everything here is turned to low for the most FPS. So yeah, set everything low. Turn both of these off. Anti-aliasing, make sure this is set to none. And then anisotropic filtering, 1x. Improve clarity, I like to have this on because I think it makes the game look a lot sharper, and it makes me it able to for me to be able to spot enemies more quickly. So I like to have improved clarity on. Enhanced gun skin visuals, this is personal preference. It's really up to you whether or not you want your gun skins to look nicer. I do, so I just have this on. Next is distortion of shadows. If you hover over them, you can actually see that turning these off will give you a tiny little performance boost. So I like to turn these off to get a little bit more FPS. So if you want FPS, I recommend turning both of these off. After that, go to stats, and you can actually turn on the FPS display here on the top left of your screen. Just text only on client FPS. And then network round trip time and packet loss I have on as well. This is basically just your ping, and then this shows you if you're dropping packets or not. That's basically it for the video settings, but I also want to touch on the audio settings really quickly. Two things that you want to turn off that are kind of just clutter is gameplay audio or voiceover and agent flavor voiceover. These two are just like basically your agents will talk sometimes in game, like to each other, or after you get a kill they'll say something like a voice line. I find these pretty annoying, so I turn them off. So if you're looking for more of a competitive gameplay, then you should probably turn these off. Alright guys, that's basically it for the in-game settings. Next, we're going to be talking about drivers. So you want to make sure your drivers and your windows are always up to date. If you're on NVIDIA, just click down here, and if you have GeForce Experience installed, you can open GeForce Experience here, and then just go to drivers and check for updates. And you can see here I have the latest version. You have the latest GeForce Game Ready driver. If you're not on the latest driver, make sure you download the latest driver. Next, open up your start menu and click or type update. And you want to click on check for updates and make sure that your Windows is up to date as well. So yeah, check for updates on your Windows. After that, go into start menu again, type this PC, and then right click on this PC, click on properties. And once you're in here, you want to go to advanced system settings. And in here, you're going to want to go to the advanced tab and click on performance. So once you're in here, you can copy my settings right here, or I'll leave an image on screen. Basically the letters, or not the letters, the options that are highlighted in green, you want to turn those off. This will make everything in Windows feel more snappy, and it will make things a little bit faster. So make sure you do that. Next up, you just want to right click on your taskbar here, go to task manager, and then go to startup. And then once you're in the startup tab, make sure you have things that you don't need disabled. So in my case, I have Dropbox disabled, so it doesn't start up with my computer. So just make sure you disable everything that isn't useful or that you don't use. Alright guys, after that, open up your start menu once again and type game mode. So game mode actually used to be bad, but if you're on the latest Windows 10 version, you actually want to have game mode on because it actually does help with giving you a little bit more FPS as well as reducing stuttering in game. So if you're on a more modern PC, game mode on and off doesn't really make too much of a difference, but if you're on an older PC, having game mode on actually does give you a little bit more FPS, so you might as well just keep this on. So yeah, just keep game mode on and don't touch that. Next, go over to a game bar over here on the side and make sure game bar is off. Alright guys, next up what you want to do is you want to go over and open up your Discord, and inside of Discord you want to click on user settings and go over to appearance. scroll down and make sure hardware acceleration is disabled. So disable hardware acceleration wherever you can in any program you can. So Discord is one of them. If you have Spotify, make sure you disable it in Spotify. Go over to settings, scroll down, show advanced settings, and make sure under compatibility here that hardware acceleration is off. So you can also do this in Chrome as well to open up hardware acceleration or the settings in Chrome, the setting page. Just click on these little three dots and go down to settings and you will have this page open. Scroll all the way down until you find advanced. Click on advanced and then turn off hardware acceleration right here. And it will ask you to relaunch your browser, so you can do that. Alright guys, next up, just a little, this doesn't really help with FPS or anything, but just to make sure that you don't have mouse acceleration on in Windows, what you want to do is open up your start menu, type control panel, and once you have control panel open, type mouse, and then click on mouse, and then go over to pointer options and make sure that enhanced pointer precision is turned off. This will make sure that you don't have any mouse acceleration enabled in Windows. Alright guys, after that, that's pretty much it, except for one more thing, which is the NVIDIA 3D settings. If you don't have an NVIDIA graphics card, you can click off this video right now. But if you do have an NVIDIA graphics card, then keep watching, because these are the best settings for your NVIDIA 3D settings in order to get the least amount of input lag and an FPS boost. Go to your desktop, right click, and you will see an NVIDIA control panel option. Click on that really quickly. Once it's open, you want to go to adjust image settings with preview, and make sure that it is on use the advanced 3D image settings, and then click on apply, and then click take me there. Once you're here, these are your global settings. We're not going to be messing around with this because this is for your other games. If you mess with this, it will mess with your other games. So if you only want to change settings for Valorant, you want to go into program settings. Once you're here, you want to select Valorant from the drop down menu here. If you don't see it in the drop down menu, click on add, and then I found mine in here, just going through this page right here, Valorant. But if you guys don't see it here, you can click on browse and then browse for the executable. And basically just find where you installed Valorant and click on the exe file and it will pop up here. So mine was here already. You want to click on add selected program and it will pop up here. So I have it selected already. And you guys basically just want to copy my settings. So image sharpening off, anisotropic filtering off, all of this off, all these anti-aliasing settings you want to have off. CUDA GPUs, make sure you select all your GPUs if you're using more than one, like an SLI. I only have one, so I just selected my only GPU, and it should say all. Low latency mode, this is pretty important. Make sure you turn it on ultra so that you get the least amount of input lag in game. Max frame rate, you want to turn off because Valorant already has an FPS limiter in game and you don't want to use this one. And then depending on your monitor and depending on what type of graphics cards you have, so if you have an older model or a newer model, you might have different options than me, but all the core options are practically the same. So like this monitor technology, you guys might not have this because I have a G-Sync monitor and I have G-Sync enabled, so I just chose that. If you guys don't have a G-Sync monitor and you don't have this option, you don't have to worry about it. Multi-frame sampled AA, you want to make sure that this is off. OpenGL rendering GPU, you want to make sure you choose your strongest GPU if you have more than one, or just choose your main GPU. Power management mode, obviously we want to make sure that this is on prefer maximum performance to get the most FPS. Preferred refresh rate, we want on highest available if you have a high refresh rate monitor, obviously so that you can get the most out of your monitor. And then shader cache depends on whether or not you have your operating system installed on an SSD or a hard drive. So if you have your Windows 10 installed on a fast drive like an SSD or an M.2, I would recommend turning this on. If you have the Windows installed on a older hard drive that's slow, then I would recommend turning shader cache off. So play around with this if you're experiencing stutters in game, because this setting right here helps a lot with stutters. So if you have stutters on one setting, then try turning it to the other setting. So yeah, texture filtering right here, make sure that this is on. Negative LOD bias, turn this to allow. Quality, we want high performance, obviously for the most amount of frames. And then trilinear optimization, turn this on. Threaded optimization, you can just leave this on auto. Triple buffering and vertical sync, we want both of these off. And then virtual reality is for VR, which doesn't really matter at all. I just left it on 1, which was the default. So yeah, that's pretty much the optimal settings for the NVIDIA 3D settings for Valorant. Make sure after you set everything, you click on apply, and that'll make sure it actually applies when you launch the game. So that's pretty much it, guys. Those are the best settings to get the least amount of input lag, max FPS, and no stutters in game. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.